Conversation now, and well, my next guest has had his conversation trimmed back. Now, this is not a surprise in the day and age when you hear the conservatives get silenced on social media on a regular basis. But my next guest, I don't think he said anything inflammatory or crazy or out of line or wild even. Dr. John Lott is the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center at crimeresearch.org to find out more. Doctor, welcome back to the program.
So you don't think I'm an inflammatory type guy, huh?
I really don't. You're a statistician. You're an academic. You're a guy that goes out. Yeah, you talk about guns and gun numbers and the effect of gun laws and so forth. I mean, that's what you do, right?
Right.
Inflammatory bomb thrower? No, that's not you. Not from what I've ever known of you. No, you're on all sorts of media outlets all over the world on a very regular basis. But I went and checked just minutes ago. I sent you a tweet. But apparently your Twitter account has been non-functioning for about 2 weeks now. What's going on?
Yeah, well, in March, I put up a tweet on the New Zealand mass public shooter at the mosque there. And, I think the tweet was pretty straightforward. I tweeted that the perpetrator in New Zealand was, quote, a socialist environmentalist who hates capitalists and free trade, end quote. And I also noted that the killer believed that his attack would lead to more gun control in both New Zealand and the United States. And
what he said.
I agree. And anyway, a couple weeks ago, I tried to log on to my account, and the only thing I could find or was allowed to see was that tweet. I was told that it violated Twitter's rules. But the funny thing was, it said it violated Twitter's rules for the following reason, and then it was blank. So it didn't tell me what I had done, but it gave me the chance. It gave me a chance to appeal. And so I sent in an appeal where I said basically two things. One is, I don't know what it is I did wrong because the section was blank where you tell me what rules I violated. And the second thing is, as far as I know, everything in that tweet is completely accurate. And I'm happy to go and talk to you about it if you disagree with that in some way. So I sent in the appeal, and then last week I got a response back from the appeal that said they had looked at it carefully and that they saw no reason to change their decision, and that I had violated the following rules, and again it was blank. So
they don't know. So you violated no rule except that you don't carry the mantle of anti-gun leftism. So therefore, that's it. Apparently, just you violated something. Apparently, you fill in the blank, John.
Right. Well, something else is still going on with this. I ended up talking to somebody on Friday, but we'll have to see whether anything comes of it. The thing is, I look at it out there, and there were lots of vitriolic tweets claiming falsely that the president was responsible for the mass public shooting. Thousands of tweets talking about him being the killer being a right winger. The thing is, I can only figure out that they claim that anybody who's a racist is a right winger, and that makes little sense to me. I mean, here they somehow don't seem to believe that somebody who's a socialist or an environmentalist can't be a racist. But you look at the guy's manifesto, and he said, I don't normally think right wingers believe that, quote, conservatism is dead, end quote. And that, quote, the global capitalist markets are the enemy of racial autonomous, end quote. The guy talks about the need for further unionization, about government ownership of firms. He denounces capitalists left and right. He says that the country that he most identifies with, both politically and with his social values, is communist China. And he has as his hero this guy from England, Sir Oswald Mosley, who was a leading proponent of European socialism. So it's it's just strange there, and I think the
It is
other
strange.
tweets are.
I'm going out on a limb here, Dr. John Lott here. I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to send a tweet even as we speak here. Hey, Twitter, why is John Lott Jr. being shut down or been shut down? Yeah, I'm gonna wade right into the minefield for you and try to find out. It doesn't make sense. I mean, is there any legal recourse? Because what this brings back to me, Doctor, is this. It concerns me that two platforms in particular, Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, I guess, is pretty similar, has this massive reach. I mean, you look at Facebook, it has a couple of billion users worldwide. Twitter's like 700 million people, right? I mean, this is the method by which people communicate today. And they can censor you without explanation. And I think that's wrong. And people say, well, it's a company, they can do what they want. Well, I disagree. At some point when it's a monopoly on the ability for people to express themselves and to communicate, I think there's a big danger to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and people like you can be shut down without explanation. What is your thought?
I guess I'm not too thrilled about government regulation on these things, mainly because as an economist, I've studied regulation many times, and it's usually used to entrench incumbent firms and protect them from competition. And, you may start the regulation for whatever good reason that you have. But I think if you go back over time, you find that regulation keeps on being used to protect firms from competition. And if we're going to have any chance of maybe breaking this up, I'd prefer to do it another way. I'd prefer to embarrass them. If you talking about it, others talking about it, maybe that may put pressure on them to go and do the right thing on this. My comments to them have been basically, if you're going to have some rule, you're going to have to use it consistently. And I can see factual,
Right.
And I didn't link to